Hello friends, welcome back to the CSS tutorial. Today we will be talking about the pseudo CSS properties, that is before and after. So let us start. First of all, we'll create one index.html file. Then we'll create another file, that is style.css, to write your CSS code. We'll open that file in the side and let us write some code. So emit your HTML code. I'll name this page as pseudocode. Okay. And inside the body we'll write some, we'll create one division for just for better understanding. We'll create one class. I'll name that class as a box, and I'll write some property box. So this sheet has to be, the style sheet has to be connected with your HTML page. So as we know that how to connect it, so link CSS style.css. Now we have connected our CSS file with the HTML code. Create one box. So I'll give an width to the box as, for example, 600 pixel. I want a margin from top bottom as suppose 100 pixel and from left right auto, so that my box will be at the center location. And I want some decent background color, so I'll take this light color which is suggested by the VS Code, and let us check our output. So right click on your HTML code, just open it with live server and check how it will looks. Okay, so it is not showing that color, so let us see what happens. Okay, so we have not provided any height to this box, so that we are not able to figure out where is that box is. So you can add the height or you can use a padding. So I'll use a padding from all the round as suppose 50 pixels. Okay, so you can see we got a light blue box at the center of our screen. Now inside this box we add some content, like suppose I want a content as h1 tag. Now I'll name this heading. We'll write some content as title as suppose heading, and I'll use some paragraph, and we'll use some random text of suppose 30 characters and check how will it looks. So we have one light background color by, uh, to, to our division. We have a heading tag and we have a normal paragraph. Now what we want to do, we want to use before and after pseudocodes. So first of all, we'll try to understand what is before and after pseudocodes. So before and after pseudocode is, it means that the the content which you want to add before any of your element. Let's say this is an h1 tag which we have used for the heading, and before this we want to add some content additionally but within the same tag, and that should not be from the HTML code. So here the heading is already present and we don't want to add within this tag, but we want to add something before the heading, but it should be within the h1 tag. So let us try to do that. So what I want to do, I want to add something before this heading title. So for that what I need to write, h1 is the tag where I want to write. I'll write two colons and write before. This is your pseudo element. Now here you can see h1 two colons before. So what it means, whatever content you want to add before this heading tag you can add, and you have to write content colon, and inside the double quotes write your content what you want to add. So let's say I want to add capital H as a before content of h1. Let's save it and check onto your output. So what is happening, it is printing 2h. Why? Because in the title in your HTML code you have added h as a heading part, but the first h which you are sending it from the before tag. Now instead of h, if you send anything like suppose you added some angular bracket, you can see that will be added before the heading, and instead of before if you write after, you will see that that will be added after your heading but within the same tag. So this is how you can use the before and after. So initially I want to demonstrate you with the help of before tag. So we have added before And now let us try to beautify it. Okay, so suppose if you don't want to send this h from HTML tag, directly write content as h from the pseudocode that is before. Now you are getting your heading, but now you want this h has to be a bigger size than the remaining words, remaining letters which you have included into the heading tag. So what you can do, you simply write font size and write some random size. Let's say we have 50 pixels size for the before element, and the content is h, which you have not given in the h1 tag. Now let's see the output. You can see only h is getting the bigger size, and if you again increase it to the suppose 70 pixels and check, now you are getting your heading as the title. Okay, this is how you can use the before content. Now one more thing, suppose I want to make some more changes to this. So inside this paragraph, the same property I want to apply for this L. So I'll remove this L. Again for the paragraph, P colon colon before, write your pseudocode content double quotes capital L. This is my content and I want to apply a font size as 70 pixel. You will see that this L, which is the first letter of your paragraph, which you have not given inside the HTML code, but you are sending it from the property before, that is from the pseudocode to the paragraph. Okay, now I don't want heading to be represented like this, so I'll simply write heading in h1 tag. I'll remove this everything and I'll just try to write some different code. So now here I want entire h1 to be at center location. So apart from the before, from the box one, sorry, from the box, I want h1 to be at center. So I'll use the text alignment as center. So now heading is at the center. Now what I want to do, I want to add some horizontal line before and after to the heading. So let's say suppose my font size is, I want to increase it to 50 pixel, save it and check your output. Okay, that's fine. And now you want to add horizontal line before and after to this heading. So how to add it? So we have written h1 before. So before h1 I want content, it should be null, so it will not represent anything, fine, but I want a horizontal line. So that horizontal line should be used as a background color, and give any solid color like let's say black. Okay, then you have to write width, how much black horizontal line you want. So width of let's say 80 pixels, and you have to write display inline block, because you are not using any border or anything else, you are just using inline block. And let's save this and check. Okay, we are not getting anything because we have not provided any height to it. So height I'll provide as suppose 1 pixel. So just save it and check what will happen. Now you can see you are getting a horizontal line which is before the h1 tag, but within the h1, not outside the h1. You are sending it to the before pseudocode. So now you got the horizontal line, but it should be at the center of heading I want. So what you can do, you have to add the margin. Suppose the margin is like 20 pixel, save it, and you can see it is a little bit to upper side. So you can change the size to suppose margin to the 10 pixel. Okay, now it is at the uh, somewhere in between, but still it is not accurate. So I'll make it to the 13 pixel. Okay, now it looks to the center of your heading title. Now same horizontal line you want it from the right hand side. Okay, and there is a gap between this because you have provided margin from all the sides. Suppose you don't want a margin from the left right, so you can make it to the 0. So first value will be for top and bottom. Save it and check it. Now it is looking good. Now same property you want to give after the h1. So simply you will write h1 colon colon after and copy all the same properties, paste it and check. Now you're getting the two horizontal lines from both the sides. Now these two horizontal lines are quite thinner than the title, so we want to make it a little bit thicker. So how will you do that? Simply use the height as 3 pixels and check how will it looks. Okay, now it is looking good. That heading is a content, HTML content, which you have included in H1, but the two horizontal lines from the left and right, that is before and after to the H1, you are adding through the pseudocode, that is before H1 and after H1. And then in the paragraph, the first letter which you have included, you have made it capital with the help of before. Now there is another way to do that, and that way, suppose you don't want to use a before for the typically to make the first letter as a capital, and you don't want to send it to the before content, you just remove it, write your content as it is in the paragraph. And if you check the output, now it's a normal paragraph and you want to make this L as a capital L with the larger font size. So how you can do that? So there is another pseudo selector. You can use a normal P colon colon, and that pseudo uh, property is called as first later, first hyphen later. Now what you want to do with that, you just want to increase the font size to 50 pixel. Just save it and check it. And if you want to change the color, you can apply the same property which we have already used for the rest of the CSS code, and whatever color you want, just select it and that color will be applicable. Now in some cases you want the first line has to be displayed in some other way, in the other color, or some properties you want to add to this. So what you can do, if you want to add uh, a property to the first line from a particular paragraph, so what you can do, you have to write P colon colon, and the pseudo property is first line. And what you want to do with that first line, so you can use like I want to make the color of that first line as suppose red. Save it and check. So the first line from the paragraph is displayed in the red color. So you are applying the pseudo property to a particular content of the paragraph. So this is how we use the before, after, and first line and first letter pseudocode with CSS. So I hope all of you have liked this video. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you.